So, J-Clik Force, Reflections on Economy. DDP price is the most expensive price, and the longer you keep it, the higher it will be. Because you have, as a supplier, to take considerations of fluctuations. You have to make margins for fluctuations. Raw material can go up and down. You have to cater for the highest. You have to add X% on the actual price. Inflation, you have to add X% of the actual price. Currency exchange rate, shipping cost fluctuates a lot over the year. And tariffs at the import, the present, what can it be and not. So you have to add also fluctuations, meaning that DDP equals, you have to add all these things on to get the actual price that you are safe as a supplier to submit. Whereas an FOB price with material purchase by the actual buyer will be the cheapest. So the optimal way of FOB purchasing method is the IKEA model. And the IKEA model is that they, as a giant buyer, actor on the market, pays for material logistics, prices that a smaller supplier could never get. They also know exactly what they pay and can therefore calculate how much the supplier that just contribute with skills, knowledge and labor, how much they will get, because they are buying all the materials to actual price, so that the supplier, the IKEA supplier, never have to add on anything on the actual material. This is by far the cheapest way any big actor can keep prices down. So briefly about the present US import situation. June 2025, Section 232 was extended with steel and aluminum tariffs, and quite some hefty 50% duty on the value of the steel and aluminum on the FOB price, the FOB invoice. So we can separate the steel and aluminum value versus the process, but we cannot press the value of the steel and aluminum further than the market price. So that's where somewhere it will end. And the rest, the balance of the FOB invoice is subject to 20% reciprocal tax. That was Vietnam had. So that's how it looks right now. And how much that will affect, how many percent this in total affect to your shelf cost, that I don't know either. You can calculate that yourself. And what happens next in 3 years from now, when there's maybe another US administration taking care? Will it be abolished, or will they continue the same thing? We don't have gråskula. So that's about that. Regarding all the molds and special tooling, punch molds, knurling machines, whatever, they are added separate on the first order. It must be paid on the first order, regardless of how big the order is. But for each future order, we have added around 0.2% into the price, the lifespan, the expected service renewal cycle. So that some units we have calculated, this particular tool will last 100,000 units, this one will last around 200 units. So we have put this into the cost of the unit. So this special first order cost for molds and special tooling is a one-time thing. The rest is calculated on the price. So we have our back free. Regarding lead times, from we get the first order, we need 60 days until we can start production. The initial production speed will be around 2,000 units per day. It will increase over time, depending on required speed, etc. We can easily step up. The shipping time then is sea, at least 45 days, air around 10 days. But air is also very expensive. So this is what you need to calculate. So what could the savings be? Well, we were a bit curious, or I was a bit curious. So I made some ballpark assumption. So if we assume that we have 200,000 poster boards spread out over, that's the final target. Salary for the workers are $20 per hour times 2 persons. And there is a 5-minute saving per swap. That is what I have received so far. It could even be more. That means that a 10-minute installation equals 2 swaps. So only after 2 swaps you have paid back the time spent for installation. That gives to hand that there would be a $650,000 saving per swap. So when has the investment paid off? Of course, these are figures I don't have, probably never will have, and I don't know how many swaps to do over the year. So this is just a ballpark assumption of what could be the savings here.